Okay.
Political violence remains one of the biggest threats to South Africa's democracy, especially as the country prepares for the 2026 local government elections. Over the past weekend alone, deadly incidents in Cape Town, Gqeberha and the West Rand claimed the lives of political figures and party affiliates, raising fresh concerns about the safety of candidates, councillors and communities. The South African Local Government Association has called for urgent and tougher measures to curb political killings and violence, warning that such acts undermine democratic participation, create fear and weaken trust in the electoral process. Joining us on the program now is spokesperson for South African Local Government Association, Modiba. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Rush on Radio Al Ansar.
Morning and greetings to the listeners of Radio Al Ansar.
SALGA's Municipal Violence Incident Reporting System has recorded hundreds of incidents since 2000. Are you seeing patterns that suggest political violence is becoming more frequent or more organized?
Look, as you've correctly said, our Municipal Violence Incident Reporting dashboard has been tracking this kind of incidents for years now. And the sad truth is that every time when we get to this season, where there are elections and so forth, we tend to see some activities that suggest that there are incidents of political violence. And this is caused by a number of reasons from what our data collection tells us. And one of those things is that this period that we're finding ourselves in is that it's elections intensify competition for positions and resources. Sometimes this leads to then conflict within parties and conflict between political parties. We seem to. The impression is that there are those who would want to use violence as a means to access political power. And that's something that as SALGA we condemn strongly, to say that the incidents of political intimidation, violence, threats, they should not have a place within our democratization. And therefore, hence we've made that call for law enforcement agencies and every other stakeholder to really put more effort to ensure that we put an end to this kind of incidents, as they would have dire consequences going forward.
What would you say are the main drivers behind political violence in local government spaces? Is it competition for power, access to resources, internal party conflict, or maybe something broader?
It's probably a combination of factors. One of them would be issues around contestation over political positions, contestation over access to resources. Sometimes it could be intra-party conflicts. Sometimes but also we cannot discount the fact that when there is weak or delayed law enforcement response, that also creates an environment where people that want to what you call mete out political violence think that they can get away with it. So a deterrent factor, one of the big deterrent factors would be ensuring that the criminal justice system acts much faster in terms of bringing perpetrators to book. But also in the long term, there's another underlying factor, which is something that is for the long term, where we say the people that are contesting for various roles, various positions when there are elections, they don't mushroom out of a vacuum. They come from societies, they come from particular organizations. And the roles and what we've posed to political organizations in particular is that to what level are they deepening consciousness, education, in terms of ensuring that their members understand that we live in a democratic society where people should be free to contest. People should be free to participate in democratic processes, and therefore there are other means of engaging. And if people want to serve, they should then invest in themselves and convince the public, not through violence, but through the veracity of the ideas that they are putting forth. So it's a number of factors that are contributing towards this, what we're seeing, and hence we also have called on other stakeholders to all of us play a more meaningful role to ensure that we put an end to this incident.
As a final question this morning, Mr. Modiba, SALGA is calling for tougher action from law enforcement. In practical terms, what specific interventions would you like to see from SAPS and other security agencies?
One, they already have the intel in terms of risk assessments that are done continuously. We would want to see heightened visible policing, especially in the hotspots. We would want to see rapid investigations. We would want to see a quicker turnaround in terms of prosecution, that cases must not drag on forever, and that the police should use available resources at the moment and work with all these different stakeholders to assist them during this particular period. But what is more important is that the public also could assist by also bringing forth information that could aid the police in doing their work around this period.
I want to thank you for your time this morning and bringing this valuable information to our listeners, and wish you a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.